it's a good time to maybe try and give this personal insight into what non-duality and enlightenment is. Are they the same? Are they separate? Is non-duality the result of enlightenment? What brings on enlightenment? What is enlightenment? What is the relationship to the spirit or God or whatever it is that appears through this enlightenment? What is the meaning behind all of these things that so many speakers speak about? So I'll try and give a mind report on what this enlightenment and non-duality is, in the sense of, is it permanent? Is there an experience still going on? Is there a specific type of knowing that you don't know? Is it only for certain people, all this stuff? Can it be attained? And if so, how do we go about it? And of course, we can only speak on our personal experience. I was a very contented human being. No need for spirituality, religion, and stuff like that. Everything was okay. Everything was all right. I fitted in. And then, on a period of time, this mind of, come on, do something worthwhile with your life appeared. So I broke all the rules of godliness and said, you know what, I'm going to try and do it on my own. I'm going to try and be big and change and make an impact on this human species. I want to do something worthwhile for the people and worthwhile for myself. An enlightenment or an awakening is when you go to the point that you jump into the pit of success without even planning or organizing or realizing that you're not made for this type of thing, that you have to follow your true self. You have to follow that contented path that was natural, that path that was happy and okay. There's no need for any more, you see. So the awakening is when you fall into this inability, this stupid, there's a realization, I made a mistake. So you're angry with yourself. So you look in the mirror and you say, you know what, who the hell are you? Why are you stopping? Or why did you do this in the first place? What was your intention, your real intention? Because you're speaking to the mind, really. Although you're looking at yourself, you're speaking to the mind that came on board and said, come on, get yourself together, do something worthwhile. And you're angry with that mind. And that mind is ego. That mind is the mind that haunts us all to say we're not doing good enough. We're not doing well enough. And it's not, you're not aiming that at another being. No one was aiming that at me. So there was no culprit behind this change. It's probably through TV adverts. It could be through you feeling you didn't do enough at school. It could be through your job is now mundane. It could be that your child or children have grown up, and there's a period in your time where there is space to do more intelligent things. So enlightenment basically is when you go so far, you go into your cocoon in this awakening process. You go into this cocoon and say, well, I don't fit into the world, so I don't deserve to be in this world. Therefore, I will hide from the world. And during this time, there's a spirit that is with you, trying to just be with you. It's okay. This will pass. This will pass. And you're saying, I don't want it to pass because it's beautiful. I don't have to do the things I don't deserve. I'm not happy anymore. I'm experiencing emptiness and nothingness, and I prefer this state. And the spirit is sitting with you, and it's not managing to pull you out of this block, this disappearance of your whole existence. It is unable to take action. The spirit cannot take action. The spirit is sitting just with you, making sure you don't fall off over the edge of a cliff in your demented state. It is just that beautiful, friendly, that the spirit exists now, and you're quite happy to be with the spirit. But the spirit itself is not managing to coerce you or coax you out of this and get you back into this human world, this life that you had before. So it calls in God. And boy, God is not as consoling as the spirit. God is that humongous. I'm not trying to tease you out of this. I'm saying you better get the hell out of this. And this enlightenment is this shock that U.G. Krishnamurti speaks about and Eckhart Tolle speaks about, that shock that pulls you right out of this nothingness, emptiness, tranquil, beautiful state with spirit. Spirit leaves immediately because it also cannot cope with the appearance of this whole God consciousness, whatever it is, this colossal voice. So it's a punishment. God says, no, enough, get back. Yeah. The purpose is not to have any purpose, says God. The purpose is that you are a human being, and you will be able to maintain some initial quality that you had, to be content, to accept life as it is, to just be alive. Not overwhelmingly alive, not depressed anymore, just alive. And you're just balanced Buddha. So enlightenment, what it does to you, this is what, now enough about me. Enlightenment is the disassociation with life. The leading up to the enlightenment, the leading up to that godly encounter is the disassociation with life. Because while you're with spirit, you're disassociating, you're detaching from all the things that you thought you did not deserve to be part of. You disassociate with names, identities, you disassociate with relationships, you disassociate with your body, you disassociate with the world, you disassociate with the universe. All these are seen as you're not deserving of these things. You have become this recluse. You are just a little grain of sand. So the spirit makes you feel as though you're not a grain of sand. The spirit is trying to entice you and say, you're something more than this. You're not colossal, saintly, special. You're not a king or a queen. You're simply something more pure, more precious, to the Father because he saved you. He could have taken you out. He could have wiped you out. A heart attack through that shock. Through self-pity. That's what awakening enlightenment was for me, self-pity. I can't do it. Doesn't matter how hard I try, I can't do it. And God says, oh, that's because you're not meant to do it. Something else is doing it for you. Something else is giving you breath. Something else is giving you life. What else do you want? What is it that you think that you can do more or better? So the relationship with the world, once enlightenment has impacted, is nil. It's nil. You have to learn so many things again. But the beautiful thing is, Spirit is still hanging around. And it's saying, okay, God saved you, but he wiped you clean. You and God together removed all the cobwebs, all that stuff that was building up, all that life, that vasanas, it's all been removed. So what are you going to do now? I don't know what to do now. I just can't see myself anymore. I've become this non-dual. Because the identities or names, the associations with individual components, the associations with you being separate from the world, everything becomes nothing, you see. Everything becomes empty. Everything has, it's like that Muji's expression. When there's a cup, but there's nothing, the cup isn't made out of anything. It's just hollow. It's like you've been scooped. Everything has been scooped out of you. Everything has been scooped out of your shell. Everything has been scooped out of the world, out of the trees, out of this planet. Everything has been scooped up and thrown away, cast aside. So non-duality is that wholeness, that oneness. Everything has become one whole nothing. One whole empty void. So in the something world, you don't fit in. When the friend says, oh, look at the beautiful tree on the hill. Isn't that an amazing shape? And you go, I don't get it. It's empty. There's nothing there. But it's beautiful. It's tranquil. Because Spirit is always caressing you. So your mind is empty, but your body is feeling stimulated. So you're in this catch-22 position. And then suddenly, Spirit moves away and you say, yeah, that's a wonderful tree. You introduce that duality again willingly. Non-duality means you cannot fit into the world of others, but you can fit into the whole universe as yourself. Duality is when we interact and we speak and we discuss and we individualize and we segment and we describe and we measure and we have qualities for and we judge. Duality is the judging mind, is the mind of me and you. So enlightenment is to say, God intervenes and takes all choices from you. God doesn't say, well done, you're great. Yeah, you've overcome this samsara life. You found this complete nirvana state, so I'm going to make you a saint. God says, if I was going to make you a saint, I would have made you a saint the minute you were born into the body. So you have to return to the life that you had before this conniving mind came on. What are you going to do with your life? And you become that ignorant sage, that sage. The question may arise, yeah, not that. Everything's okay. You have the opportunity to reintroduce names and identities. You have the opportunity to reintroduce new ways, new methods, new practices. But these are little tempting, teasing apples on the garden, the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. Oh, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to entice me back into this life that moved me off the track. And God put you back on the track, and Spirit remains with you on the track. And Spirit says, this one's going to need help until everything is grounded. And you return to that what was before. You become this human being with a simple name, with a simple basic understanding about what life is. There's no controller in life. There's no controller other than God. There is no bigger force. There is no reptiles and aliens and Illuminatis and conspiracy. There are people who are affected by a quality of mind, many qualities of mind. So you're scientifically, an enlightenment is your brain. All the chemicals have become opiates and dopamines and serotonin and what all this stuff is. They all become imbalanced because you were balanced up into the point that you had this idea that you're going to be great. And the brain. So enlightenment is when God comes and says, right, empty the brain out and fill it up equally. And empty the mind out and fill it up equally. We have the opportunity to rebuild your mind again. The Spirit calls it, Christ calls it rebirth. It's a great opportunity to become what you were originally. A simple human being, a simple basic man with a simple basic life and a simple basic family. And you have to go through all the same things that every other human being has to go through. Illness, pain, suffering. Slight bouts of depression reappear. But it's quite easy to say, you know what? I know what sits in here. The Spirit has many, many tentacles that travels for billions of light miles, light years, always tickling you inside saying, I've still got my finger on you. Don't do it again. Don't fall into the trap of desire, of needs, of wants. Accept everything as it is. Non-duality is when everything is as it is. Your beingness is now representing what you are again. Your human side wanted to take over from the beingness, from a mind that says, let's do it. Totally ignorant of the body, totally ignorant of every other body. Are you wanting to be famous in the world and not meant to be famous in the world? We're all put in here on a position. Whatever you're born as, that's you. Many people think, or many people are able to get out of this. But you have to ask one simple question. Did they get out of it? Did they move on? Did they enhance their lives into some sort of entrepreneur or billionaire status? Did they do it on their own? Or was it always meant to be? Is it something this God is actually manipulating? That's not a really nice word. Is actually guiding each one of us into the path that we were here to be destined on. And you feel grateful for that someone actually is guiding you. It could be consciousness, it could be spirit, it could be a God, it could be your higher self, it could be something spontaneous, it could be nature, it could be life, it could be a mistake, it could be an accident, it matters not. I got the opportunity to get rid of that rogue I, that rogue you. What are you going to do with your life? Why are you not satisfied with life as it was? Then you are taken on a journey of awakening, enlightenment, through a self-pity, through a desire to end it all, through a desire to finish this thing out. And unfortunately, you are intervened by spirit and consciousness and God, and they save you. So enlightenment means you are being saved. Not for anything special, not for anything particular. You're being saved so that you can live out this life as you are meant to live out this life. And every day is a blessing. Every moment is a blessing. And yes, the great thing is, when God appears, you have that knowledge of that wisdom that God is, that surrounds this God. This unbelievable wisdom, this unbelievable magical quality that it can create galaxies and universes out of just a simple thought. So you are humbled and honored. And yes, you see the beginning of the life. You see how life started. You see this eye, this tower, and this consciousness, this vagina enshrouding it. And you see that whatever comes from it is birth. And you and me and all are particles of this birth between the feminine consciousness and the masculine God, the masculine I. That's the whole story, is really as the Bible says. But the Bible is a story, interpreted, misinterpreted, exaggerated. But it's pretty near accurate that consciousness, the female, supplies the mother, the earth, and the life force. And God, the I, is the axis, the stability that holds itself together with consciousness as one. And you become a reflection of this I and consciousness as one. And that's what you learn. But here and now, everything is okay. Everything is okay. In the next 20 minutes, everything may not be okay. I may have a heart attack or whatever. Or the house may burn down. It's life, life is generating itself. Non-duality and enlightenment. Enlightenment, a way to meet God in a negative way, that you have failed that simple task of being here as a human being and accepting and trusting and having faith in life as it is. Non-duality, also quite negative. Not negative to you, because it leaves this unbelievable, incredible feeling of love within. But it's negative to the other world because you don't fit into their stories, to their narrative, to their languages, to their ways, to their methods, to their opposing states of happy and sad and negative and positive. You don't fit into that world because non-duality means all of that is one whole thing. Negative and positive are exactly the same. Man and woman are exactly the same. Everything is one whole life. Everything is one whole God. So it's like everything else. Enlightenment is a positive thing because you were saved. But it arose from a negative need, a negative desire. Non-duality, a positive thing for you individually, personally, lovingly. But negative to the world because they don't want you in their company, if you don't speak their language. Quite rightfully so. I hope this makes some sense, because tomorrow it may change. The only thing you know is there's nothing happening. Everything that is happening is coming from your emotional sensory experience. The nervous system that is connected to that Vishnu in the sky. Is that what is that umbilical cord that is circular? From God, through you, back to God, through Vishnu. Whatever Vishnu is, it's just a name. But many Hindus may know what it is. I call it spirit. I call it consciousness. Everything is still, everything is stable with a consciousness mind that creates change because it can have opposing ideas about things. So change creates movement. Movement creates time. Time creates suffering, because we start measuring our life. We start measuring the qualities of our life. And then this mind comes in and says, hey, you, what are you going to do with your life? And you, no, not again, please, not again. It's not, I'm not here to advise anyone that enlightenment is a good thing or a bad thing, or awakening is a good thing or a bad thing. If you have a contented life, if your life is okay, you should not be seeking anything other than just getting on, just moving through this transitional period of being a human being into whatever comes next. Matters not. So I hope you're all content. I hope you're all very balanced. I hope you have so much mind. I hope you have so much ego. I hope you have so much life. I hope you have so much spirit, so much soul, so much religion, so much non-religion. I hope you're balanced. I hope you're Buddha. Because Buddha is not something special. Buddha is just simple, balanced, beautiful, transcending, loving, still, silent life. As it is. Namaste.